You have spent your life believing you are a victim of circumstances. You have looked at the canvas of your existence and seen it as a series of chaotic accidents, a random event of pain here, an unexpected stain of betrayal there, a pattern of failure that repeats again and again without your permission. You look at your life and see a messy tapestry. The threads are tangled, the colors are murky. There are knots of trauma so tight they seem irreparable. There are threads of fear that run down the center, distorting the entire design. There are vast sections of an opaque gray, the frequency of stagnation and depression, and you have asked yourself the question that every human being asks in the stillness of the night. Who wove this? Was it fate? Was it chance? Was it an indifferent or cruel God who created this pattern of suffering for me? And now you have come to this place, not by accident, but because a part of you, the sleeping weaver within, is beginning to awaken, and it is ready to hear the deepest, most forbidden truth of all. The truth is that there is no cruel God. There is no chance. There is no fate as an external force that punishes you. There is only the weaver, and the weaver is you. This is the truth that lies at the heart of this manuscript. You have woven the tapestry of your life, but you have done it unconsciously. You have been weaving in your sleep, in the darkness, with your hands tied by habit. You have been using the only threads you were taught to use, the rough threads of inherited guilt, the brittle threads of your parents' fear, the heavy threads of humanity's collective pain. Your hands move at night, in the trance of your subconscious programs, repeating the same knot of lack, the same stitch of self-sabotage, again and again, and in the morning you wake up, look at the messy tapestry your own hands have woven in the darkness, and you cry out to the sky asking why? Your life is not a punishment. It is simply the inevitable result of weaving with tangled threads in a state of unconsciousness. But your time of weaving in your sleep is over. This audiobook is the secret manuscript of the reality weaver. It is the manual that has been whispered in mystery schools and forgotten temples. It is not a book of passive philosophy. It is a technical manual on the lost art of conscious creation. We are going to dismantle the illusion of your life, thread by thread, and we will teach you to weave anew, the anatomy of the tapestry. To understand the work, you must first understand the machinery. Reality operates on a simple, perfect mechanism. First, there is the loom. The universe itself is a quantum loom. It is the infinite field of potentiality, the ether, the divine mind. It is a vast field of silent, receptive, and intelligent energy. It does not judge. It does not punish. It simply receives and executes. Second, there are the threads, your thoughts, your beliefs. Your words, and above all your feelings, are not private abstract events that occur inside your skull. They are real things. They are threads of vibrational energy. They are the raw material of creation. Every thought you hold is a thread you extend from your consciousness to the quantum loom. A thought of fear is a rough, gray thread. A thought of love is a thread of golden silk. Third, there is the weaver. The weaver is your consciousness. It is the I Am chapter 20 that you learned. It is the silent intelligence within you that has the power to choose which threads to use. And fourth, there is the tapestry. The tapestry is your manifested life. It is your body, your health, your bank account, your relationships. It is nothing more than the physical, solidified reflection of the threads you have been weaving into the loom. The quantum loom is impartial. It does not give you what you deserve or what you ask for. It gives you a perfect reflection of the threads you give it. If you give it threads of chaos, it weaves a life of chaos. If you give it threads of order, it weaves a life of order. Each chapter of this book follows a lost formula. First, we will tell you a parable of the weaver, a mystical story that conceals the wisdom. Second, we will reveal the law of the loom, the metaphysical truth behind the story. And third, we will deliver the thread of practice, a practical and simple ritual so you can apply that law immediately. This is not a journey to acquire a new tapestry. It is a journey to become a new weaver. You have spent enough time lamenting the messy tapestry. You have spent enough time blaming external forces. Now is the time to take the tools. It is time to untangle the knots of the past. It is time to choose new threads. It is time to awaken. Chapter 1. The Art of the Weaver, the Illusion of Chance. In a valley forgotten by time, in a stone cabin on the edge of a whispering forest, lived a young weaver named Ilara. Despite her skill, Ilara lived in frustration. Her loom, though made of the noblest wood, produced only chaotic tapestries. The threads tangled, the colors clashed, and the patterns emerged full of knots and dissonance. "Fate has given me faulty threads," she lamented, blaming the wool, the loom, or the gods. One day, the wind brought her news of a hermit who lived deep in the forest, a blind man said to weave the most perfect tapestries ever seen. Filled with skepticism but desperate, Ilara followed the trail. She found the old man Elian sitting before a magnificent loom. His eyes, white as milk, saw nothing. Yet his hands moved with fluid grace, and the tapestry emerging from his fingers was a cosmic work of art. Galaxies spun. Flowers looked alive, patterns of perfect geometry. "Elder," said Ilara, "my eyes are clear, yet my tapestries are chaos. Your eyes are blind, yet your work is divine. What is your secret?" Elian did not stop his weaving. His voice was as soft as moss. "It is because you weave with your eyes, little weaver. You trust what you see. But how can a blind man weave?" asked Ilara. "You cannot see the threads." The old man smiled. "That is your mistake. I do not need to see the threads. I emanate them." "What do you think they are made of?" Ilara was silent. Elian continued. "Your tapestries are chaotic because your thoughts are chaotic. Your mind is a hurricane of fear, doubt, impatience. And those thoughts are not private events, child. They are the threads you give the loom. The loom of the world simply weaves the image of your inner noise. You have been weaving your own chaos." "I," Elian continued, "understood that to weave a tapestry of peace I must first be the peace. Before touching the loom I sit in silence. I calm my mind until the hurricane becomes a gentle breeze, and from that stillness I choose the only thread that matters, the thread of my intention." Elian lifted his hand from the work, and to Ilara's astonishment, a fine thread of golden light seemed to emanate from the palm of his hand, connecting directly to the tapestry. "You do not create the threads, child. You are them. Stop looking at your messy tapestry, your life, and blaming it. Sit down, close your eyes, and for the first time, take responsibility for the threads you are emanating from the silence of your own being." Ilara returned to her cabin. She did not touch her loom for 7 days. She sat in silence, observing the hurricane of her own mind. She saw the threads of fear, judgment, and doubt emanating from her uncontrollably, and instead of fighting them, she simply observed them. And in the light of her observation, the hurricane began to subside. On the 7th day, she sat at her loom. She closed her eyes, and she invoked a single thread, the thread of calm. And then she began to weave. The law of the loom, the revelation, mentalism. The parable of Ilara is your story. Her messy tapestry is your life, chaotic finances, tangled relationships, failing health. Her faulty threads are your external circumstances, and her frustration is your own sense of powerlessness, the belief that you are a victim of a world you cannot control. The first law of the quantum loom, the revelation Elian delivers to you, is the most fundamental of all metaphysics. It is the principle that, once understood, pulls you from the seat of the victim and seats you on the throne of the Creator. The law is this: the universe is mental. Your thoughts are the threads. Forget the illusion that your thoughts are private, ephemeral, and harmless events occurring inside your skull. That is the lie that has kept you prisoner. The truth is that every thought you have is a thing. It is an energetic structure. It is a vibrational thread that you emanate from your consciousness, and that is inserted directly into the great quantum loom of the universe. Your mind is not a mirror that reflects reality. Your mind is a projector that creates it. As quantum physics has confirmed, the world is not made of matter, it is made of energy, of vibration. The loom of the universe is a vast field of infinite potentiality, and the observer, your consciousness, is the one who collapses that potential into a tangible reality. Your thoughts are the mechanism of that observation. They are your directive. A thought of fear, "I am not enough, I will fail," is not just a thought. It is a rough, gray, low-vibration thread. It is an order you give the loom. "Weave me a pattern of failure." A thought of gratitude, "Life supports me, I am abundant," is not just a positive attitude. It is a thread of golden silk, of high vibration. It is an order you give the loom. Weave me a pattern of abundance. And here lies the most terrifying and most liberating truth of all. The quantum loom is impartial. It does not judge you. It plays no favorites. It does not distinguish between a good thread and a bad thread. It is like fertile earth. Its only function is to grow the seed you give it. Its only function is to weave. If you give it day after day a constant supply of grey threads of fear, doubt, and self-criticism, what tapestry do you expect it to weave? The loom, in its absolute fidelity to you, the weaver, will weave a masterpiece of misery. It will create a life full of circumstances that perfectly correspond to the threads you have been feeding it. Your bad luck is not a punishment. It is the testimony of your unconscious creative power. It is the irrefutable proof that the loom works perfectly. The problem is not that your life is chaotic. The problem is that your thoughts are chaotic. You have been weaving in your sleep. To change the tapestry, you must not fight the tapestry. You must not complain about the knots. You must do what Elara did. Return to the loom. Silence your mind and, for the first time, consciously choose the thread of practice, the ritual, the witness thread. You have understood the law. Now you must become a conscious weaver. This is your first practical ritual. The objective of this ritual is not to change your thoughts. Not yet. That would be fighting. The objective is much more fundamental. It is to become aware of the threads you have been using. It is the first act of responsibility. It is the moment Elara sat and observed her inner hurricane. Ritual name, the witness thread. Purpose, to awaken the weaver. To make the invisible visible. The protocol, the consecration, the initial knot. In the morning, before the world's noise begins, take a simple physical object. A piece of colored thread, a wristband, a small stone in your pocket. This will be your witness thread. Hold it for a moment, close your eyes, and declare your intention. Today I choose to awaken. Today I become the observer of my threads. Place the thread on your wrist or the stone in your pocket. The observation, the act of seeing. Throughout your day, every time your consciousness notices the witness thread, every time you see it on your wrist while typing, or feel the stone in your pocket while searching for your keys, that is your signal. It is the temple bell calling you to wake up, if only for a single second. The question, the inventory. In that microsecond of awakening, pause. Do not interrupt your action, only your unconsciousness, and ask yourself, what thread, thought, feeling was I just weaving? The registration without judgment. And here is the key, do not change it. Do not judge it. Do not punish yourself. If you discover you were weaving with a thread of fear, judgment is just another tangled thread. Simply name it with a scientist's calm. The thread of self-criticism, the thread of worry about the future, the thread of resentment over the past, the thread of gratitude for this coffee. Simply name it. And by naming it, you have moved from being the thought, the sleeping weaver, to observing the thought, the waking weaver. At the end of the day, you will realize something astonishing. You will realize that 95% of your day you have been weaving, on autopilot, with threads of fear, doubt, and judgment. You will not feel guilty. You will feel illuminated, because you have finally found the cause of your messy tapestry. The problem was not the loom. It was you weaving with your eyes closed. This ritual does not change the tapestry. It awakens the weaver. And an awakened weaver, for the first time, can begin to choose a different thread. Chapter 2. The Great Loom. The Universal Connection. In the infinite workshop of the cosmos, there existed a thread of light. This thread, conscious of itself, believed itself to be unique and separate. It prided itself on its color, a vibrant blue, and its strength. Its greatest fear was becoming tangled with other threads, for it believed that if it mixed, it would lose its precious individuality. It spent its life vibrating in its own space, trying to weave its own small tapestry in an isolated corner of the void. My life is mine, it sang to itself. My destiny belongs only to me. But its tapestry did not prosper. It felt weak. Its patterns were small, and the void around it was cold and indifferent. Its vibration of solitude only managed to weave more solitude. One day a vibration of deep red passed near it. It was a master thread, a thread that seemed ancient and shone with the wisdom of 1,000 suns. The blue thread in its pride contracted. Do not come closer, it vibrated. I do not want to become tangled. My tapestry is mine. The master thread paused, its red light pulsing with a calm amusement. Little thread, its answer vibrated, which was not a sound but a feeling. What tapestry do you think you are weaving? And what do you think you are weaving it on? I weave my own tapestry on the great void, replied the blue thread. The master thread laughed, a vibration that made the blue thread tremble. The void does not exist. And your tapestry does not exist. Pull on yourself. The blue thread, confused, pulled on its own essence, and to its horror as it pulled, it felt a tug in the distance. It pulled again, harder, and in the darkness far away, it saw the master thread move with it. You are afraid, the red thread vibrated. Pull again, but this time do not look. Feel. The blue thread closed its consciousness and pulled, and then it felt it. It was not a tug. It was an echo. And it did not come only from the master thread, but from millions of other threads. It felt a green thread from a distant forest, a silver thread from a distant star, a white thread from snow that had not yet fallen. It realized that it was not a thread on the loom. It discovered, with a dissolving terror and astonishment, that it was a strand of the loom itself. The great loom is not something you weave on, the master thread whispered to it. It is what you are. Your tapestry is not yours. It is the corner of the universal tapestry that has been assigned to you. Your freedom does not reside in isolating yourself, but in harmonizing. Stop weaving against us. Weave with us. That day, the blue thread stopped fearing getting tangled. It relaxed its vibration of solitude. And for the first time, it felt the music of the other threads. And it began to weave not its own small design, but its part of the cosmic symphony. And its tapestry suddenly blossomed with a beauty and power it never knew it possessed. The law of the loom, the revelation, the unified field, the parable of the solitary thread is yours. You are the blue thread, vibrating with the belief that you are a separate individual, an isolated consciousness within a body, struggling alone against an external universe. This is the fundamental illusion of separation. It is the lie that keeps you weaving small, messy tapestries. The second law of the quantum loom is the revelation that destroys that illusion. You are separate from nothing. You are an expression of the unified field. The quantum loom, the field of potentiality, is not an inert object out there. It is a living, singular, and interconnected field of consciousness. Quantum physics calls it the unified field. Ancient wisdom calls it the mind of God, the Tao, the ocean of consciousness. It is a vast, infinite network of energy and information, where every point is instantaneously connected to every other point. You are not a weaver on the loom. You are the loom. Your individual consciousness is not a separate entity. It is a focal point of the great loom. It is a vortex, say a center of consciousness through which the entire universe experiences and weaves itself. The physics of connection, entanglement. This is not a poetic concept. It is the strangest and most proven truth of physics. It is called quantum entanglement. When two particles have been in contact, they remain connected forever, regardless of distance. If one spins left, the other, thousands of miles away, will instantly spin right. Now expand that idea. The entire universe was born from a single point, the singularity. This means that every particle of your body is entangled with every particle of the universe. The thread of your consciousness is literally connected to the thread of the farthest star, to the thread of the opportunity that has not yet arrived, and to the thread of the person you need to meet. There is no separation. There is no real distance. There is only one great loom, the consequence, the end of solitude and the birth of synchronicity. When you understand this, two things happen. Solitude dies. How can you feel alone if you are indivisibly connected to everything that exists? Solitude is the illusion of the blue thread. Connection is the truth of the master thread. Chance dies. On a loom where every thread is connected, chance and coincidence do not exist. There are no accidents, there is only resonance, and here we arrive at the mechanism of luck, magic, and synchronicity. Synchronicity is the visible evidence of this invisible connection. It is the moment when you, the blue thread, emit a clear vibration, your intention, your feeling, and another thread on the loom. A thread you needed, a person, an opportunity, an answer. vibrates in response and moves toward you. You think of a friend, you pull on your thread, and that friend calls you, their thread responds. You need a book, you emit a vibration, and someone gives it to you. The loom harmonizes. You are not attracting anything. You are resonating. You are sending a vibration through a loom that already connects you to everything. Luck is simply the art of weaving in harmony with the symphony of the other threads, instead of weaving in dissonance against them. Your job is not to find opportunities. Your job is to vibrate on the frequency of your intention, and trust that the great loom, by its very nature, will cause the correct threads to resonate with you and weave themselves into your tapestry. The thread of practice, the ritual, the resonant thread. You have understood the law. You are not alone. You are an indivisible part of the great loom. Now you must stop knowing this truth and start feeling it. This ritual is not to change anything. It is to remember the connection. It is the act of stopping being the scared, lonely blue thread and starting to feel the vibration of the master thread. Ritual name, the resonant thread. Purpose, to dissolve the illusion of separation and feel your connection to the unified field. The protocol, the consecration, the witness thread. Say it in silence as you did in the previous ritual. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. The inner thread, anchoring. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Feel the rhythm of your heart. Feel the warmth of your own life. Recognize your individual thread. Feel yourself vibrating. The expansion, the connection. Now begin to expand your consciousness. Imagine that from your heart, millions of very fine threads of light emanate outward. Feel a thread connecting you to the chair you sit on. Feel a thread connecting you to the air in the room. Feel the threads connecting you to the people you love wherever they are. Feel their vibrational presence at the end of that thread. Expand further. Feel the threads connecting you to the trees outside, to the clouds in the sky, to the sun. Expand further. Feel the threads connecting you to the person you need to meet, to the money that already exists in the field, to the solution to your problem. They are not out there. They are already connected to you. The resonance, the feeling. Remain in this state. Feel the vast, vibrant, and interconnected network that you are a part of. You are no longer a solitary blue thread in the void. You are a glorious knot of light in an infinite loom. Feel the security of this connection. Feel the peace of knowing you are not alone. Feel the power of knowing you are connected to everything. The decree, the seal. From this state of connection, whisper the truth. I am one with the great loom. I am not separate from anything I desire. Everything is connected to me now. This ritual, practiced daily, will begin to dissolve the illusion of separation. It will train you to stop thinking like an isolated victim and start feeling like a connected creator. You are learning to feel the power of the great loom. Chapter 3. The Shadow Knot, Subconscious Programming. In the mountain valleys, there existed a family of legendary weavers. They were famous for the beauty of their tapestries, but an odd curse weighed on their lineage. Every tapestry they created, regardless of the design, regardless of the color, carried an identical imperfection in its bottom left corner, a tense, dark knot, a small vortex of chaos in the midst of beauty. They called it the Shadow Knot. A young weaver from this family, Silas, was determined to break the curse. He loved his art, but he hated the knot. He was convinced that the problem was the family loom, an ancient machine of dark wood that had been passed down from generation to generation. Silas tried everything. He used the finest threads, his best thoughts. He stayed awake all night, weaving with absolute concentration, his willpower. But every time he approached that corner, a strange force seemed to take hold of him. His hands, as if they had a memory of their own, moved with a speed his mind couldn't follow. His feet struck the pedals in an ancient rhythm, and before he could stop himself, the shadow knot appeared, identical, mocking him. Frustrated, Silas sold everything he owned and bought a new, modern loom made of shiny metal and silent gears. Now I've done it, he thought. I have escaped my family's curse. He sat before the new loom. He chose threads of gold. He began to weave, his heart full of hope. The tapestry was magnificent. And then he reached the bottom left corner. His mind screamed, "Don't do it!" But his hands tensed. His muscles remembered. And with horrible precision, his fingers executed the old pattern. The shadow knot appeared. Silas broke down, understanding the terrible truth. The knot was not in the loom. The knot was in him. An old loom repairwoman passing through the village stopped when she heard his crying. She looked at his hands, not the tapestry. "Ah," she said softly, "I see you still weave with your grandfather's hands." "It's a curse," Silas said. "It is not a curse," she replied. "It is a memory. Your grandfather invented that knot. His family was starving and the loom was slow. That knot allowed him to save thread and weave faster. It was a knot of survival. It was an act of desperate love to save his family. And he taught it to your father as the secret of his success, and your father taught it to you. The time of the famine is long past, child, but your hands still weave a fear that is no longer yours." Silas looked at his hands. "But how do I stop it?" "If I do it without thinking." The old woman pointed to the knot on the tapestry. "You cannot not do it. First you must stop weaving. You must sit, take the knot in your hands, and with infinite patience untie it thread by thread, thanking it for the service it once provided. Only when you have honored and untied the knot in the tapestry will your hands learn a new way. The law of the loom, the revelation, subconscious programming. The story of Silas is your story. The inherited loom is your subconscious mind. And the shadow knot is your bad luck, your recurring pattern of scarcity, illness, or failed relationships. You have spent years trying to change your life, the tapestry, by changing external circumstances, the loom. You blamed your job, your partner, your body. You changed cities, partners, diets, and yet the shadow knot, that same pattern of self-sabotage, reappeared on the new loom. The third law of the quantum loom is the revelation that frees you from this repetition. The knot is not in the world. The knot is in your programming. Your subconscious mind, that vast 95% of your consciousness, is not an inert loom. It is an automatic mechanism of astonishing efficiency. And its main function is not to make you happy. It is to make you efficient. To save energy, your subconscious takes any action or thought you repeat and turns it into a program. A habit, a knot. Once the knot is learned, you no longer have to think about it. The mechanism executes it for you. The creation of your knots between the ages of 0 and 7, your conscious mind, the waking weaver, was not yet fully formed. You were in a state of hypnotic trance, theta waves. You had no filter. You were an open loom absorbing the knots from the people around you. You saw your parents struggle for money, and your hands learned the knot of scarcity. Money is hard and scarce. You were hurt in your first love, and your hands learned the knot of fear. Loving is dangerous. You saw your grandfather's story, like Silas, and you learned the knot of survival. I must fight for everything. The knot is obsolete protection, and here lies the deepest truth. These knots are not your enemies. They are your obsolete protectors, like Silas's knot. They were created in a moment of famine, of pain, as a survival mechanism. The knot of scarcity protected you from the disappointment of wanting too much. The knot of fear protected you from the vulnerability of being hurt again. The problem is that, as the old woman said, the time of the famine is long past. But your subconscious mind, in its blind loyalty, continues to weave that survival knot into a tapestry that now craves abundance. Your bad luck is not an attack. It is a tragic loyalty to a fear that is no longer yours. Why effort? Fails trying to think positive using golden threads without untying the knot is Silas's futile effort. You can weave a beautiful tapestry, but when you reach the point of the program, the automatic mechanism will fire, and the knot of scarcity will appear in your tapestry of abundance. You cannot weave over the knot. You must stop the loom, the action, become conscious and untie it, the healing, the thread of practice, the ritual, the recognition. Thread, you have understood the law. Your recurring patterns are automatic knots, obsolete survival programs. Now you must learn to find them. This ritual is not to change the knot. Not yet. It is to find it and honor it. It is the moment when Silas finally stops blaming the loom and looks at his own hands. Ritual name, the recognition thread. Purpose, to identify your main shadow knot and honor its origin. The protocol. The consecration, the silence. Sit in a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, releasing the day's noise. Invoke the tapestry and the pattern. Bring to your mind without judgment the messy tapestry of your life. Focus on one area that is not working. Money, relationships, health. Observe the recurring pattern. Feel the emotion it produces, frustration, fear, sadness. That emotion is the shadow knot vibrating. The question, the thread of memory. Holding that emotion, ask your subconscious a simple, loving question. When was the first time I felt this way? What is the story of this knot? The observation, the witness. Do not search for the answer. Do not force a memory. Simply wait. The answer will come. It might be an image from your childhood, a word your mother said, a feeling of loneliness at school. It might be an image that makes no logical sense. It does not matter. The first image or phrase that emerges, that is the root of the thread, the recognition thread, the honor. You have found the origin of the knot. Your old habit would be to judge it, hate it, try to cancel it. But you will not do that. You will do what Silas did. You will look at that memory, that scene, that belief, and with deep compassion you will thank it. In your mind say, I see you. I understand that you were born to protect me. I understand that you were an act of survival or love. I honor you for the service you gave me. But the time of the famine is over. Your work is complete. I thank you and I release you. Chapter 4. The Master Pattern, Intention as Cause. In the city of Auria, famous for its tapestry markets, lived a weaver named Inara. Her threads were the finest, her colors the most vibrant, and her skill was undeniable. Nevertheless, her tapestries never sold. Inara wove with frenzy. She began each morning with a burst of energy, taking whatever thread inspired the moment. A passion red here, a melancholy blue there. She had no plan. She followed the whim of the moment. The result was a chaotic tapestry, an explosion of technical skill that told no story, a scream of colors without harmony. It was, in essence, a messy tapestry. But it is my passion, she exclaimed, not understanding why her work moved no one. In the same market there was a quiet stall that was always busy. It belonged to Kyle, a weaver who rarely looked at the crowd. His works were masterpieces of clarity. Every thread, every color, worked in perfect harmony to tell a story of beauty and peace. Inara, jealous, finally confronted him. Your threads are no better than mine. Your technique is no faster. Why does your work have so much power, and mine is just noise? Kyle put down his shuttle and looked at her calmly. Because you weave to find yourself, Inara. I weave what I have already found. Inara did not understand. I weave with passion, she said. And your passion is a hurricane, Kyle replied. You sit at the loom and expect it to tell you what to do. But the loom is a servant. It awaits your orders. And because you give it none, it simply weaves the image of your own chaos. He pointed to his own tapestry. This work, he said, was finished a moon ago. I wove it completely, thread by thread, in the only place where real creation happens, in the silence of my mind. I did not sit at the loom until the pattern was so clear within me that my hands were mere slaves to the vision. You weave with your hands. I weave with consciousness. Inara returned to her workshop and looked at her chaotic tapestry. For the first time she did not see passion. She saw the perfect image of her own indecisive and fearful mind. She realized that she had been asking the loom to give her a pattern, instead of giving the loom a pattern herself. That night she did not weave. She sat in silence, and for the first time, the real work began, that of drawing on the loom of her mind, the master pattern, the law of the loom, the revelation, intention as cause. The story of Inara is the story of creative humanity. Many of us approach the quantum loom, the universe, like Inara, with beautiful threads, passionate desires, good intentions, but no blueprint. We sit each day and simply react to life, weaving with the threads that fear, chance, or habit throw at us. And then we wonder why our tapestry is chaos. The fourth law of the quantum loom is the revelation that transforms the reactive weaver into a deliberate creator. Creation does not begin with the thread. It begins with the master pattern. This pattern is your intention. In Chapter 3, you discovered your habit knots. Those knots are in themselves patterns. They are the automatic, unconscious, and obsolete designs that your subconscious has been weaving over and over again. Your bad luck is not chance. It is the perfect execution of a bad pattern. To change the tapestry, it is not enough to stop weaving the knot. You must give the loom a new pattern that is clearer, more potent, and more convincing than the old one. If you do not give your subconscious mind a new deliberate job, it will, by its nature, revert to its old default job, weaving the knot of fear. The physics of the pattern quantum collapse. As we have established, the quantum loom is a field of infinite potentiality. It is an ocean of threads of all possible colors. The observer effect of quantum physics teaches us that this soup of potentiality remains as potential until a consciousness observes it. The moment you observe it, the potential collapses into a tangible reality. Your intention is the act of disciplined observation. A vague desire, I want to be happy, is like looking at the entire ocean. It is a diffuse observation. The loom does not know which thread to take. The result is static. A clear intention, your master pattern, is like focusing your consciousness on a single golden thread in that ocean. It is a specific order. It is an act of collapse. Your imagination is not a useless fantasy as you were taught. It is the design workshop where you draw the pattern. It is the divine faculty that allows you to see the reality that has not yet manifested. When you sit and create a clear, detailed and sensory image of your wish fulfilled, you are not daydreaming. You are doing the true work of the weaver. You are drawing the blueprint that the subconscious builder, the automatic loom, is obliged to execute. The difference between desiring and deciding desiring is Inara's act at the beginning. It is the vibration of lack. It is looking at the chaotic tapestry and wishing it were different. It remains focused on the problem. Deciding is Kale's act. It is the vibration of authority. It is the act of looking away from the messy tapestry, the current reality, and fixing your gaze on the master pattern, the future reality, until it feels more real than what is before. You cannot weave a new tapestry if you remain obsessed with the knots of the old one. You must fall in love with the pattern, not the problem. The thread of practice, the ritual, the inner pattern ritual. You have understood the law. You must create a master pattern. Now, I will give you the practical ritual to draw that blueprint on the loom of silence. This is the ritual that transforms the amateur weaver into a deliberate designer. Ritual name, the inner pattern ritual. Purpose, to create a clear sensory image, a memory of the future, and imprint it onto the quantum loom. The protocol, the consecration, the silence of the workshop. You cannot draw a blueprint in the middle of a hurricane. You must do what Ilara did, find the silence. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, use your breath to calm the hurricane of your mind, as you learned in Cheche 1. You must reach a state of stillness, of receptivity. The distillation, choosing the design. Do not try to weave 10 tapestries at once. Choose one design, and distill it down to its essence. Do not focus on the form, the $1 million, the big house. Focus on the feeling, the emotional thread. What do you want to feel? Security, freedom, peace, health? The sensory weave, the act of imagination. Now construct a short, simple, first-person scene that implies you already possess that feeling. Do not visualize the how, the weaving process. Visualize the what, the finished tapestry. Your scene must be sensory. If your pattern is freedom, the scene could be you are standing on a balcony, feeling the ocean breeze on your face, touch, smelling the salt, smell, and feeling a deep wave of peace in your chest, emotion. If your pattern is health, the scene could be you are laughing with a loved one, and you realize with astonishment that your body feels light and without pain, sensation, the embodiment, becoming the tapestry. Here is the key. Do not just look at the scene. Enter it. Feel the breeze now. Smell the salt now. Feel the laughter in your throat now. Live it repeatedly in your imagination until your body is confused and believes it is actually happening. Your body must feel the emotion of the finished work, the final knot, the seal. When you feel the emotion has reached its peak, release the image. Do not cling to it. Simply give thanks. You have drawn the pattern. You have delivered the design to the great loom. The work is done. Practice this ritual not with effort, but with the joy of an artist designing his masterpiece. You have stopped being Inara. the chaotic weaver who reacts to the threads of fear. You have become Kale, the awakened weaver who from the silence chooses the pattern that his hands will obey. Chapter 5. The tension of the thread, the secret of feeling. Most people approach the loom with the wrong tension. Their tapestry, their life is a mess, not because their threads, thoughts are incorrect, but because the tension, feeling they apply is counterproductive. There are two types of tension that guarantee a failed tapestry. Excessive tension, the tense thread. This is the tension of need and desperation. It is the feeling of I want it now. I need it to be happy. Why isn't it arriving? It is the thread stretched to the point of breaking. It is the vibration of anxiety, effort, struggle. When you weave with this tension, what is the feeling you are emitting? You are emitting with immense force the frequency of lack. You are shouting at the loom, I do not have this. And the loom, in its impersonal obedience, receives that vibration of panic and weaves a perfect tapestry of your scream, a tapestry of not having, struggling, and needing. Bad luck is simply the loom being faithful to your tension of anxiety. Loose tension, the slack thread. This is the tension of doubt and apathy. It is the feeling of, well, I'm trying, but I don't think it will work. It would be nice, but it is a slack thread, lifeless. The signal is weak. There is no conviction. When you weave with this tension, the loom has nothing to grab onto. The shuttle cannot pass the thread. The result is a tapestry full of holes, weak, formless, a failed manifestation, a lost synchronicity. The universe cannot build with an indifferent vibration. The weaving of fortune is created neither by the tension of fear nor by the slackness of doubt. It is created with the tension of certainty. It is the vibration you had as a child on the morning of your birthday, an absolute calm, mixed with an electric joy that something wonderful was inevitable. It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the correct tension. It is not the anxiety of wanting. It is the calm of having. It is the frequency of anticipated gratitude, the peace of a reality already consummated on the invisible plane. We have been conditioned to believe that feeling is the effect of reality. When I have the money, then I will feel at peace. When I find love, then I will feel whole. This is the mentality of the messy tapestry. It is waiting for the loom to weave the pattern on its own, so that you can feel good, awakening to your power as weaver inverts this law. Feeling is the cause of reality. You must feel the peace first, so that the money can appear. You must feel whole first, so that love can be reflected. You must stop being a thermometer, which reacts to the room's temperature, and become a thermostat, which sets the room's temperature. Your feeling is the thermostat of your reality. It is the magnet. The mental image, your master pattern, is the iron filing. The feeling is the magnetism that attracts and organizes it. Without the feeling, your master pattern is just a handful of inert metal dust on the loom. Your job is not to visualize harder. Your job is to feel more deeply. The ritual of essential tension. You have understood the law. Feeling is the tension that weaves reality. It is the vibration that the quantum loom obeys. And it must be the tension of certainty, not lack. But how do you generate this tension at will? How do you feel peace when your reality is chaos? How do you feel abundance when your eyes see scarcity? You do not do it by pretending. Pretending is an act of the conscious mind that hides a vibration of contradiction. It is the tense thread of anxiety. You do not do it by thinking about it. Thought is the pattern, not the tension. You do it through an act of inner alchemy. You use your master pattern, the image, not as the end goal, but as a key to unlock a door. The door to pure emotion. This ritual teaches you to stop visualizing and start feeling. Ritual name: the essential tension ritual. Purpose: to generate the pure vibration of the wish fulfilled, the correct tension of the thread, regardless of external reality. The protocol. Step 1. The consecration, the silence of the workshop. Your first step is always to create the blank canvas. You cannot weave a thread of gold onto a tapestry of chaos. Sit in your quiet space, where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes. Use your breath to calm the hurricane of your mind, as you learned in Cha 1. Take several deep, slow breaths. Feel the day's tension leaving your body. Your sole objective in this step is to reach a state of neutrality and silence. Step 2. Invoke the master pattern, the design. Now, From this place of calm, bring your master pattern, the one you created in Chapter 4, to your mind. Observe it for a moment. The short, clear and sensory scene of your wish already fulfilled. See it once. With clarity. You see the house. You feel the hug. You hear the good news. Step 3. Release the pattern, the master key. Here is the secret, the step that most people omit. Once you have the clear image, let it go. Let go of the visual image. Let go of the what. Let go of the details, the car, the house, the number. The mental image is the key, not the treasure. Its sole purpose was to remind you which door you came to. Now that you are in front of the door, you no longer need the key. Step 4. Distill the tension, the essential question. With the image faded, but with the idea of your desire present, you ask yourself the fundamental question. If that pattern were already my reality right now, what is the pure, central and background emotion I would feel? Do not look for superficial excitement. Yes, $1 million. That is a fleeting emotion, a tense thread. Look for the deep emotion that lies beneath the excitement. Is it relief? The sensation that the struggle has finally ended. Is it peace? The deep calm of knowing everything is well. Is it freedom? The expansion of having no ties. Is it security? The sensation of being anchored and unshakable. Is it harmony? The sensation that everything fits perfectly. Find that single word, that emotion. That state of being, that is your golden thread. That is the essential tension. Step 5. Weave with the tension, the embodiment of feeling. Now, your sole job for the next 2 to 5 minutes is to generate and inhabit that feeling. Forget the why you feel it. Forget the what will cause it. Just feel the pure emotion. If it is peace, feel how peace relaxes your shoulders and your stomach. Let the chemistry of calm flood your body. If it is freedom, feel the literal expansion in your chest. Feel how your breathing becomes deeper. If it is relief, exhale deeply and sonorously, and feel how years of tension leave your body. Immerse yourself in this emotion. Become it. Bathe every cell of your body in this new vibration. You are not visualizing a future. You are recalibrating your present state. This is the correct thread tension. This is the music that the quantum loom can understand. Step 6. The final knot, the seal. When you feel the emotion is stable and real, when you are completely immersed in it, simply give thanks. Feel the gratitude for being able to feel that. Then release it. Open your eyes. Do not cling to the feeling. Do not worry about how it will work. You have done your work. You have dyed the thread with the color of your soul and woven a perfect stitch. You have delivered a clear order to the loom. The work has begun. This ritual changes the game. Most people spend hours weaving with the wrong tension, fear and doubt. Their minds are busy, but their tapestries are empty. You now will learn to weave for only 5 minutes, but with the correct essential tension. And those 5 minutes of coherent, felt weaving are more powerful than a lifetime of chaotic effort. Chapter 6. The Shuttle of Silence, the imprint in the ether, the conscious mind, the guardian. This is the you that thinks, analyzes, judges, and worries. It is 5% of your consciousness. Its job is not to create. Its job is to protect the existing tapestry. It is the guardian of your knot of habit. Chapter 3. The subconscious mind, the loom. This is the 95%. It is the vast, blind, impersonal power that executes programs. It doesn't think. It just does. It doesn't judge. It just weaves. During the day, you are awake, and so is your guardian. Imagine sitting down during the day and trying to visualize your new master pattern of abundance. You, consciousness, say, I choose the thread of abundance. The guardian, logic, shouts, false. Look at your bills. Remember last month's failure. This is the knot of scarcity, and it is our reality. Reject that thread. In the waking state, you are in a state of civil war. You are trying to weave a new thread, while the guardian of the old programming is actively unraveling it. You are weaving with the emergency brake on. This is why thinking positive during the day feels like an exhausting struggle. It is. It's your 5% conscious trying to overpower, by brute force, the automatic 95%. You are destined to lose. To imprint a new pattern, you must not fight the guardian. That is a waste of energy. You must simply wait for the guardian to fall asleep. The moment the guardian falls asleep is the moment your brain changes its frequency. It leaves the beta waves, alertness, logic, stress, and descends into alpha waves, relaxation, and more deeply into theta. The theta state is the workshop of silence. It is the portal. It is the state you naturally experience twice a day, in the moment just before falling asleep, the drowsy or hypnagogic state, and in the moment just after waking up. It is the state of daydreaming, where you are no longer completely awake but not yet asleep. Why is this the most powerful moment of creation? Because in the theta state, two miracles happen simultaneously. The guardian falls asleep. Your logical, analytical mind disconnects. The critic quiets down. The resistance disappears. The knot of habit stops defending itself. The loom opens. Your subconscious mind, the automatic loom, becomes hyper-receptive. It is like fertile ground after a soft rain, open, soft, ready to accept any seed without questioning it. This state is the shuttle of silence. It is the metaphysical tool designed to take your thread, intention plus feeling, and pass it directly through the strands of the great loom, imprinting your pattern into the very substance of the ether. When you imprint your master pattern in this state of silence, the act of creation ceases to be a struggle. There is no guardian to deny it. There is no resistance to corrupt it. There is no frequency of counterfeiting. In the silence of theta, your pattern, charged with the essential tension of your feeling, is not presented as a wish. It is presented as an order. It is recorded in the subconscious, not as a future possibility, but as a present reality. The automatic loom accepts it as the new default program. And when you wake up, that vast 95% machinery will quietly and inexorably begin weaving that new reality into the tapestry of your life, orchestrating synchronicities, guiding your actions, and inspiring your thoughts. Imagine your subconscious mind is a large disk of wax. During the day, beta state, the wax is cold, hard as a rock. If you try to press your master pattern, a seal onto it, it will bounce off. You will leave no mark. Effort, struggle, and forced positive thinking are the futile act of striking the seal against the hard wax. The ritual of the shuttle of silence is the act of warming the wax. By relaxing, by entering the drowsy theta state, you are applying gentle heat to the disc. The wax softens, becoming receptive, and in that moment of maximum receptivity, just before sleeping, you press your master pattern, charged with the feeling, onto the soft wax. You don't need force. You don't need to struggle. You simply hold it there. The impression is perfect, deep, and indelible. Then you fall asleep. You withdraw the seal, and the wax cools overnight, solidifying with your new pattern engraved upon it forever. The when and the where of creation are as important as the what. The workshop is silence. The portal is the drowsy state, theta, the moment when the wax of your subconscious mind is soft and receptive, and the critical guardian is asleep. But knowing the workshop exists doesn't build the tapestry. You must learn to use that portal. You must master the ritual of passing the thread through the loom. This is the most important practical ritual in this entire manual. It is the act of consciousness engineering that takes your master pattern, Chapter 4, and your essential tension, Chapter 5, and imprints them into the substance of the universe. It is the method that many people have called the subconscious lullaby. Ritual name, the ritual of the shuttle of silence. Purpose, to imprint a new master pattern into the subconscious mind so that it becomes the new default program. Step 1, the preparation of the thread before the ritual. This step is crucial and is done before going to bed. The loom is not the place to design the tapestry. You must arrive at the loom with the design already memorized. Mentally review your master pattern, the scene, and your essential tension, the feeling. Your master pattern should be brief. It is not a 30-minute movie. It is a 10-second clip, a short scene that implies your wish is already a fact. If your pattern is health, the scene could be a friend congratulating you, or you performing an action like running that you couldn't do before. If your pattern is abundance, the scene could be the feeling of relief looking at your bank account, or the serene joy of buying something without anxiety. Your essential tension is the feeling of that scene. Relief, freedom, peace, joy. You must have this scene feeling so clear in your mind that you can invoke it in an instant. Step 2. 2. The consecration of the workshop, the intention. The time to go to sleep has arrived. This is no longer a passive act of shutting down. It is the most important creative act of your day. Your ritual begins when your head touches the pillow. Close your eyes. Declare your intention in silence. I am not going to sleep. I am going to create. I now enter the workshop of silence to imprint my new reality. This simple act changes your energy from passive to active. Step 3. The descent into silence, softening the wax. Now, you must reach the theta state. You must wait for the guardian to fall asleep. Do not force it. Simply let yourself drift. Begin to relax. Feel your body becoming heavy. Feel your thoughts becoming slower, more absurd, more dreamlike. You are entering the drowsy state. You will recognize this state. It is that delightful drift where you are no longer completely awake but not yet asleep. Your logical mind shuts off. The wax is soft. The loom is receptive. Step 4. The subconscious lullabied are passing the shuttle. Now, with the guardian asleep and the loom open, you begin to weave. With a gentle intention, you invoke your master pattern. You live your short 10-second scene. You fill it with the essential tension, the feeling you defined. Feel the relief. Feel the peace. And as soon as the scene ends, release it. And start again. Live it again. Feel the feeling and release it over and over. It is not mechanical repetition. It is a lullaby. It is a lullaby you sing to your deep mind. It is the rhythmic movement of the shuttle, passing the thread of your fulfilled desire through the loom. With each repetition, you are weaving a new stitch. With each repetition, you are reinforcing the new pattern. With each repetition, you are making the feeling of your new reality feel more natural and more familiar than your old reality. Step 5. Weaving into sleep, the seal. How long do you repeat this loop? The answer is the key to everything. You repeat it until sleep overcomes you. Your sole goal is to fall asleep in the middle of that sensation. In the instant you fall asleep, feeling your desire fulfilled, you have achieved the imprint. You have passed the shuttle one last time and delivered it to the automatic loom. You have sealed the wax. You have given the subconscious constructor a clear, felt, and indisputable order. And what happens now? Your consciousness, the weaver, falls asleep. But the automatic loom, your subconscious, never sleeps. It takes that pattern that has been imprinted with such authority, and during the next 8 hours of sleep, begins the great work. It begins to weave. It rearranges your biology. It rewires your neurons. It sends signals to the great loom of the universe, the quantum field, to orchestrate the synchronicities, move people, and prepare the events that must manifest in your physical tapestry to match the pattern you just recorded. Many people fail at this ritual for one single reason: effort. They try to stay awake to visualize harder. They fight sleep. This is a mistake. The struggle is the wrong tension. Chapter 5. It is the guardian waking up. The goal of this ritual is not to fight sleep, but to use it. The goal is to seduce your mind into accepting a new truth as its last sensation before shutting down. It must be an act of grace, of drifting, of permission. Chapter 7. The golden die, the gratitude amplifier. The thread is on the loom. The design is engraved, but a thread, however perfect, is just a thread. A pattern, however clear, is just an order. Now we must ensure that this order is executed with priority by the great loom. Think of it this way. The quantum loom is receiving billions of threads, intentions, at every instant. Most are the grey threads of collective fear, the static of chaos. Your new thread of health or abundance is a single strand of pure, silent white light amidst a storm of noise. How do you ensure the loom weaves your thread first? How do you make your signal stand out? You must magnetize your thread. You must take your white light thread and dip it in an alchemical dye so potent that it glows with a golden brilliance, a dye that makes it irresistible to the laws of manifestation. The 7th law of the quantum loom is the revelation of this amplifier. The dye that transforms intention into manifestation is gratitude. Gratitude is the most misunderstood frequency in the universe. Most people see it as a reaction. It is the thank you say after the tapestry is finished. It is an echo in effect. But in the physics of creation, this law is reversed. Gratitude is not the effect of manifestation. It is the cause. Your master pattern, the image, and your essential tension, the feeling, are the electrical frequency of your creation. They contain the information. Gratitude is the magnetic frequency. It is the power. When you join intention to gratitude, you create a coherent electromagnetic signature. You create a magnet. The quantum loom, your subconscious, only has two modes of operation, based on the vibration you feed it: lack or wholeness, plenitude; lack, the tense thread. When you weave from fear, need or desperation, the excessive tension of Chapter 5, you are dyeing your threads with the acid of lack. You are yelling at the loom, "I don't have this." And the obedient loom weaves a perfect tapestry of not having. Wholeness, the golden dye. Gratitude is the frequency of wholeness. It is the vibration of it already is. It is the only frequency that aligns with the nature of the universe, which is, in itself, infinite wholeness. Gratitude is not asking for the tapestry to be finished. It is the act of celebrating the tapestry while it is still on the loom. It is the weaver who, having imprinted the pattern at night, wakes up in the morning and, even though the physical loom is empty, feels a surge of joy and whispers, "Thank you," because the work is already finished in the ether. This act of anticipatory gratitude is the most powerful command you can issue. It sends two irrefutable messages to the quantum loom. The creation is complete. It closes the time gap. You stop desiring a future and declare that future is already a vibrational reality. I trust the loom. It is the final seal of faith. It is your absolute confidence that the subconscious builder has received the order and is executing it. When the loom receives this magnetic signal of gratitude, your thread ceases to be one more among millions. It becomes the golden thread. It lights up, and all the machinery of the universe reorganizes around it, attracting the synchronicities, opportunities, and circumstances, the other threads necessary to weave your pattern with astonishing speed. Many people try to practice gratitude by writing lists. This is helpful, but it is still an act of the mind. The true alchemy of the golden dye is not an act of doing gratitude. It is a state of being gratitude. Doing gratitude is the weaver sprinkling a little gold paint on the thread, positive thinking. Being gratitude is the weaver submerging the entire thread in the dye, saturating every fiber with the emotion, a state of being. You must cultivate gratitude not as a ritual, but as an atmosphere. It is the air you breathe. It is the frequency you choose to live in. When you live in that frequency, you don't need to attract anything. You become the magnetic center to which all good things are drawn. You have understood the law. Gratitude is not a courtesy. It is a physics. It is the magnetic dye that takes your thread of intention and turns it into an irrefutable signal for the great loom. It is the frequency of wholeness, the only state that can create more wholeness. But how do you apply this dye? How do you generate this feeling at will, especially when the tapestry of your current life still shows the knots of the past? You don't do it by faking it. The quantum loom detects counterfeiting. You don't do it by thinking about gratitude. Thought is the thread, not the dye. You do it through a ritual of saturation. This ritual does not replace the Shuttle of Silence ritual, Chapter 6. That ritual is your nighttime imprinting work. This ritual is your morning work. It is the act of magnetization. It is the dye bath you give to the threads you planted in the darkness. Ritual name: the ritual of magnetic saturation. Purpose: to charge your master pattern already imprinted with the coherent frequency of anticipatory gratitude, accelerating its manifestation. The protocol. Step 1. The consecration, the silence of the workshop. Your first step, always, is to create the blank canvas. Perform this ritual in the morning, ideally right after waking up before the noise of the world contaminates your consciousness. Sit in your quiet space. Close your eyes. Use your breath to calm any residue of sleep or anxiety. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. Anchor your consciousness in the now. You are present. The workshop is silent. Step 2. Invoke the thread. Recall the pattern. Now gently recall the master pattern that you imprinted the previous night with the Shuttle of Silence. You don't need to redo the entire ritual. Simply recall the feeling. Bring to mind the essential tension, Chapter 5, of your already fulfilled desire. Feel for an instant the calm of perfect health or the peace of abundance. You have the white light thread in your hands. Step 3. Prepare the die, the generation of pure gratitude. This is the most crucial step. You are going to prepare the golden die. You cannot feel gratitude for something you want but don't have because your subconscious will detect the contradiction. Therefore, you must generate gratitude for something that is already real and undeniable. Let go of the image of your desire for a moment and focus all your attention on something simple, something present. Feel genuine gratitude for the air you are breathing right now. Feel the miracle of your lungs expanding. Feel gratitude for the warm bed you slept in or the chair you are sitting on. Feel gratitude for the silence of the morning. Feel gratitude for your body, which, regardless of its challenges, is a wonder of biology that allows you to experience life. Feel gratitude for your consciousness, for the simple fact that you can be and observe this moment. Hold this feeling. Don't think it, feel it. Let the warmth of genuine gratitude grow in your chest. This is the golden die. It is the frequency of wholeness. Step 4. The saturation, the alchemical fusion. Now, at the peak of this feeling of pure gratitude, you perform the fusion. You take your master pattern, the feeling of your fulfilled desire like financial peace, and mentally completely submerge it in this ocean of gratitude you have generated. The two frequencies meet and merge. They are no longer two separate vibrations, gratitude for the air and peace for the money. They become a single, new, coherent and powerful frequency, absolute gratitude for the peace that already is. In this state you have tricked the guardian. You have dissolved the frequency of counterfeiting. Your subconscious can no longer distinguish between the gratitude for the air, which is real, and the gratitude for your abundance, which you are declaring as real. For it, both are now the same vibration of wholeness. You have dyed the thread. Step 5. The radiation becoming the golden thread. For the next 2 to 5 minutes, do nothing else. Simply inhabit this state. Do not focus on the image. Do not repeat words. Just radiate. Imagine and feel that this golden thread of gratitude for manifested reality is not just in your mind, but is emanating from every pore of your skin. You have become a living magnet, a sun that shines with the frequency of wholeness. You are emitting the clearest, most potent, and most magnetic signal possible to the quantum loom. You are telling it, I am ready, I am open, I am already in the frequency of reception. By practicing this ritual every morning, you complement the imprinting ritual every night. Chapter 8. The broken thread, managing the challenge. This is the most dangerous moment of the journey. It is the weaver's trial by fire. The untrained mind, upon seeing the broken thread, enters into panic. It interprets this event as proof of failure. It didn't work. It screams, the law is a lie. The loom is broken. And in that instant of panic, it abandons the new master pattern, lets go of the golden thread, and out of sheer habit, its hands return to weaving the old familiar shadow knot, Chapter 3 of Fear and Scarcity. It has cancelled its own creation on the verge of victory. The 8th law of the quantum loom is the revelation that teaches you to navigate this moment. It is the one that transforms the amateur weaver into a resilient creator. The broken thread is not a failure. It is the knot of transition. Why does this happen? If you have been weaving with golden threads, why does a lead knot appear? The answer lies in the inertia of creation. Your current life is an immense tapestry, and the rituals you have begun are new. You have started weaving a new pattern in the upper corner, but 90% of the tapestry hanging below you is still the old work, woven with the threads of fear and past programming. The quantum loom, the universe, has a delay. The physical world is dense. It takes time to catch up with your new vibration. What you experience as a problem or a broken thread are in reality two things: the echo of the old habit. The broken thread is not a new creation. It is the echo of your old tapestry. It is an old order of scarcity that you placed weeks or months ago, and which is only now reaching the loom. It is the final knot of a programming you have already cancelled, but which must finish being woven. It is the past finishing its death. The test of tension, the contraction. More profoundly, the broken thread is a test of coherence. The great loom, upon receiving your new master pattern of abundance, must make sure you are serious. And it asks you, Do you still choose abundance? Even now, do you hold the thread tension chapter 5 of peace, even in the face of chaos? The challenge is not a punishment. It is a contraction, a squeeze of the loom to test the strength of your new thread. If upon seeing the broken thread you panic, you fail the test. You demonstrate to the loom that your thread tension was false, that your true loyalty still lies with fear. But if upon seeing the broken thread you remain calm, hold your vibration and incorporate it into the new design, you have demonstrated your mastery. The broken thread is in fact a gift. Most people don't know what they want until they see what they don't want. The contrast, the challenge, the broken thread is not a wall. It is a compass. The knot of the unexpected bill is not a failure. It is the universe giving you crystal clear clarity on the depth of financial freedom you truly desire to weave. The conflict that appears is not a disaster. It is the universe showing you exactly the habit knot, chapter 3, that still remains in your programming and needs to be untied. The broken thread shows you with surgical precision where your tension, feeling, and your pattern, intention are not yet aligned. It is not there to stop you. It is there to refine you. The novice weaver sees the broken thread and abandons the tapestry. The conscious weaver sees the broken thread, gives thanks for the clarity it provides, and uses it as the anchoring point to create an even more intricate and beautiful pattern. But knowing that a storm is not a punishment does not prevent you from feeling fear when the wind roars. When the thread breaks in your hands, your programming's automatic reaction is to panic, drop the loom, and return to the habit of fear. This ritual is your new response. It is the art of alchemy in real time. You are not going to fix the broken thread, the problem. You are going to transmutate your reaction to the broken thread. Because your reaction is the only thread that matters. Name of the ritual of the transmutation of the knot. Purpose, to meet the energy of the challenge, not with the frequency of fear, which reinforces it, but with the frequency of consciousness, which dissolves and incorporates it. The protocol step 1, the sovereign pause, stopping the loom. The challenge appears. The bill arrives. The symptom hurts. The conflict erupts. Your body reacts before your mind. You feel the contraction, the knot in your stomach, the racing heart. This is the alarm of your old fear program. In this instant, your autopilot wants to take control and start weaving the tapestry of panic. Your first act of power is to do nothing. Stop, do not react. Do not speak. Do not move. Take a single deep conscious breath. With this simple act, you have stopped the automatic shuttle. You have interrupted the program. You have created a space between the stimulus, the broken thread, and your habitual response, the knot of fear. You have gone from being an unconscious reactor to being an awakened consciousness. Step 2, the witness thread, observing the internal knot. Now in that pause, use the tool you forged in chapter 1. Observe the hurricane within you. Instead of obsessing over the external problem, the bill, bring all your attention to the internal problem, your reaction. Feel the fear, feel the panic, feel the anger. Name it calmly like a scientist. There it is. The thread of fear of scarcity, the knot of anxiety. I recognize it. Do not judge it. Do not try to repress it. Simply allow the emotion to be there, but do not become it. You hold the feeling in the light of your consciousness. By observing it without reacting, you remove its power to control you. Step 3, the reaffirmation, invoking the master pattern. Your old program is screaming. Now you must present a higher order. While observing your fear, now remember your master pattern, chapter 4. Remember the design you chose in the silence, and most importantly, invoke the essential tension, chapter 5 of that pattern. Your fear screams, panic. You from your center invoke the feeling of peace. Your body tenses. You deliberately relax your shoulders and breathe the feeling of relief. You are not fighting the fear. You are simply choosing a different frequency. You are superimposing the master pattern over the knot of chaos. Step 4, the golden dye, saturating the knot. This is the alchemical act, but this time you don't just use it for your desire. You use it for the challenge itself. This is the most advanced move. You look at the broken thread, the knot of chaos, and you give thanks. Thank you, unexpected bill. I see you. You are the echo of my old pattern of scarcity. Thank you for appearing and giving me the opportunity to weave a thread of abundance in your place. Thank you, pain symptom. Thank you for reminding me how committed I am to my master pattern of perfect health. You are the compass that refocuses me. By doing this, you have transmuted the poison into medicine. You have taken the energy of the problem and used it as fuel for your certainty. Step 5. The incorporation stitch, weaving the knot. Now the broken thread is no longer an error. It is a component. You no longer try to fix or hide it. With creative calm, you incorporate it into your new design. Your tapestry of abundance is no longer a flat field of gold. It is now a field of gold with an intricate dark knot at the center. A knot that by contrast makes the gold around it shine with a strength and beauty it did not have before. You have taken your failure and turned it into the focal point of your masterpiece. You have shown that your power resides not in avoiding problems, but in transmuting them. Chapter 9. The Dance of the Hands, Inspired Action. Forced action is the old program. It is the shadow knot, Chapter 3 of Survival. It is the belief that if I don't do it, it won't get done. It is born of excessive tension, Chapter 5. It is fear, anxiety, and doubt disguised as productivity. It is making 100 sales calls from the vibration of panic. It is going on 10 dates in 1 week from the vibration of loneliness. It is fighting an illness, filling your day with strained effort. This is not creative action. It is action of resistance. It is the weaver, who having submitted a pattern of peace tries to weave it with hands full of anxiety. They are weaving with the wrong tension. They are sending 2 contradictory signals to the loom, the pattern: intention, peace, the tension, action, struggle. And the loom, which always obeys the tension, the feeling, ignores the pattern and weaves a perfect tapestry of your struggle. The result: more effort, more exhaustion, more failure. True creation is not born of this struggle. It is born of flow. Inspired action is a completely different state of being. It is not born of your logical mind, the 5% conscious. It is born of the great loom, the 95% subconscious and universal. Remember, the loom is a unified field of consciousness. When you imprint your pattern, the loom begins to work. It starts moving the threads of synchronicity. And its first movement is not in the external world. It is in you. The loom sends you a subtle tug, a whisper, an illogical idea, a hunch. Call that person you haven't seen in 10 years. Take that different route to work. Read that book you found. These are not random thoughts. They are the loom's first stitch. They are the universe's dance of the hands, inviting you to move with it. Inspired action is not the act of starting the creation. It is the act of responding to the creation that has already begun on the invisible plane. Forced action is the weaver fighting the loom. Inspired action is the weaver surrendering to the movement of the loom and allowing their hands to dance with it. Imagine your life is a powerful river flowing towards the ocean, your fulfilled desire. Forced action is attempting to row against the current. It is exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately futile. You create resistance and the river fights you. Passive inaction is dropping the oars, but refusing to raise the sails. You float but directionless at the mercy of the eddies. Inspired action is the art of dropping the oars, effort, and instead raising the sail, receptivity. Your job is not to row. It is to feel the direction of the wind, intuition, and adjust your sails, your actions, so that this cosmic power carries you to your destination effortlessly. Luck is simply the name we give to the life of a weaver who has learned to stop fighting and has started to dance. Effort is resistance. Inspiration is flow. Your job is not to make it happen with your forced action, but to recognize and act upon the threads of inspiration that the great loom sends you. But here lies the practical challenge. How do you distinguish the thread of inspiration from the rope of panic? The loom whispers to you, call this person. But your shadow knot, habit, also screams, call all your clients or you will fail. Both seem like actions, but they are from different universes. One is the dance. The other is the struggle. This ritual teaches you to become the interpreter. It teaches you to distinguish the voice of the loom from the voice of fear, and it gives you the courage to act on the former. Name of the ritual. The ritual of the dancing hand. Purpose: to discern inspired action from forced action and cultivate the habit of following the flow. The protocol. Step 1. The tuning. Listening to the music. You cannot hear the whisper of inspiration if your mind is a hurricane. The dance of the hands can only begin after the calm. Your first practice is non-action. Before making any important decision, or when you feel stuck and tempted to use forced action, stop. Retreat to your workshop of silence, Chapter 6. Take 5 minutes. Anchor your consciousness in the now. Feel your breath. Calm the tension. Your goal is not to find the answer. Your goal is to silence the noise so you can receive the answer. Step 2. The thread compass, distinguishing the tension. In this state of calm, present the idea of the action to your consciousness. And now use your body as an infallible compass. Feel the tension of the thread, the voice of forced action, the habit knot. Emotion feels like anxiety. There is a sense of urgency, of panic, of should body sensation. It is a contraction. You feel tension in your chest, a knot in your stomach, stiffness in your jaw or shoulders. Origin. It is logical and based on the past. If I don't do this, everything will fail. I must do it because that's how it's always been done. It is the voice of your fear of scarcity, the voice of inspired action, the loom thread. Emotion feels like calm. There is a sense of serene certainty, curiosity and expansion. Body sensation. It is an opening. You feel lightness, an internal click, a sigh of relief as if something fits into place. Origin. It is illogical and based on potential. It is often a simple whisper, without justification. Call that person. Go this way, write this idea. Your practice is to learn to trust expansion over logic. Good luck feels light. Struggle feels heavy. Your body knows the difference. Step 3. The thread of faith, acting on the whisper. The quantum loom rarely asks you to weave the entire tapestry at once. Luck almost never arrives as a massive finished event. It arrives as an illogical impulse, as a single strand that if you pull it unravels the whole skein. Your practice here is the courage of the first step. Your somatic compass gives you an expansive yes to the idea of signing up for that workshop that has nothing to do with your career. Your logical mind, the not guardian, screams, "It's a waste of time. Focus on the problem." Inspired action will always seem crazy to the logical mind because it is not based on your past, the guardian's data, but on the score of your future, the wisdom of the great loom. Your practice is to trust expansion over logic. It is having the courage to pick up the phone, click register, write the first paragraph. That first step, however small, is your yes signal to the cosmos. It's your way of saying, I've heard the music, I'm stepping onto the dance floor. And the moment you take that first step, the loom responds. And the next thread, the next synchronicity appears. Step 4. Weaving without a pattern, action without attachment. This is where many people fail, even if they got the first 3 steps right. They take the inspired step, but they do so with a rigid agenda. I'm calling this old friend so they can give me a job. I'm going to this party to find my soulmate. This is not improvisation. This is a return to forced action. You are trying to impose your own limited choreography on the infinite symphony of the universe. You are again weaving with excessive tension, Chapter 5, and creating resistance. True improvisation, true luck, requires action without attachment to the outcome. Your practice is that of intention without agenda. Hold the master intention. You keep your keynote clear, your pattern from Chapter 4. You know you are tuned to the key of abundance. Follow the thread. You act on the illogical impulse to go to the coffee shop. Drop the choreography. But you go to the coffee shop without an agenda. You don't go to find the millionaire partner. You go simply because the music told you to go. You go with an open curiosity in a state of awe, and then the loom is free to improvise. Perhaps you won't meet the partner, but in the coffee shop you'll overhear a conversation that gives you an even better idea, or perhaps nothing happens at all. But the simple act of obeying your intuition strengthened your connection for the big opportunity that will arrive tomorrow. Luck arrives when you stop trying to write the entire score and content yourself with playing beautifully, the single note given to you in the now. Chapter 10. The Finished Tapestry, the Embodiment. We have spent 9 chapters talking about how to create the tapestry, but the truth is, creating is the easy part. The real challenge is allowing yourself to live in it. You have spent decades living in the disordered tapestry of the shadow knot, Chapter 3. Your identity, Your sense of self has been forged in struggle, scarcity, and not being enough. You have learned to feel comfortable in the discomfort of your old pattern. Now the universe presents you with your masterpiece, a tapestry of peace, abundance, and health. And your old identity, the weaver accustomed to chaos, looks at this perfection and panics. It is the soul's imposter syndrome. This is too good to be true. I don't deserve this. Something bad is going to happen to balance this out. I don't know how to be this abundant, peaceful person. I don't know the rules. This is the final sabotage. It is the weaver who, having finished their masterpiece, refuses to hang it on the wall and instead hides it in a dark attic, returning to their old chaotic loom because, at least, it is familiar. Creation is not completed when the universe gives you something. It is completed when you become something. The quantum loom does not respond to your rituals. It responds to your identity. As long as you remain the weaver who tries to be abundant, the loom will give you a reality of trying and struggle. The moment you become the person who is abundant, the quantum loom collapses that reality around you. Living in the end is not pretending. Pretending is an act of the conscious mind that hides a thread tension, feeling of scarcity. Embodying is an act of total consciousness. It is the art of aligning your identity, your thoughts, your words, and your daily actions with the truth of the tapestry you have already completed on the invisible plane. It is the final act of faith. It is stopping weaving the tapestry and starting to inhabit it. Imagine the difference between an architect and a resident. The architect, the mind in creation mode, is obsessed with the blueprints. They are focused on the future. They measure, calculate, and worry about materials. Their reality is the process. The resident, the mind in embodiment mode, does not think about the blueprints. They already live in the finished house. Their reality is the experience. They wake up, have coffee in their new kitchen, and enjoy the view from their window. Most people stay stuck in architect mode forever. They keep manifesting their abundance, they're trying to heal and working on their happiness. They never give themselves permission to move into the house they have already built. The tapestry is finished on the invisible plane. You have understood that your only remaining job is not to create, but to embody. You must stop being the architect looking at the blueprints and become the resident inhabiting the house. But how is this done in practice? How do you inhabit a tapestry that your five senses still cannot see? You don't do it by faking. Faking is an act of effort, an excessive tension, chapter 5, that creates dissonance. You do it through a ritual of conscious alignment. It is the art of taking your new identity and practicing it with subtle devotion until it becomes your only natural state. Name of the ritual of inhabiting the tapestry. Purpose: to align your identity, thoughts, words, and physical actions with the reality of your master pattern, closing the gap between the invisible and the visible. The protocol step. 1. The declaration of identity, the new. Premise: your day no longer begins with the golden thread ritual, chapter 7, as an act of creation. It begins as an act of remembrance. Upon waking, your first conscious thought, before the day's habit knot catches you, is your declaration of identity. You close your eyes for a moment and assume the feeling of your fulfilled desire, the essential tension from chapter 5. And you declare in silence, I am the person who lives in the finished tapestry. I am abundance. I am health. I am peace. You are not asking. You are not creating. You are informing your mind and the universe of the truth you now choose to embody. You have set the tone of your new reality for the day. Step 2. The embodied thought, thinking from the tapestry. This is the most subtle work. You must change your mental perspective. The old mind, the weaver of chaos, thinks about its desire. I really want to be abundant. It is on the outside looking in. The embodied mind, the resident, thinks from its desire. What wonderful thing will I do today with this abundance that I am? It is on the inside looking out. Daily practice. Throughout the day, whenever you catch yourself wishing for your goal, stop. Use the witness thread, chapter 1. And shift the perspective. Instead of, I hope my meeting goes well so I can get the contract. Think, I enter this meeting from my identity of success. How would the successful person that I already am share my value? You are not trying to get something. You are expressing something. This subtle change in perspective is the difference between lack and embodiment. Step 3. The embodied word, speaking from the tapestry. As we learned, your words are threads that weave. Now that you have imprinted a new tapestry, you must stop weaving the old one with your mouth. This is a strict verbal diet. Complaint prohibition. Complaint is the most powerful prayer for chaos. It is the resident who, living in a palace, complains that the walls are old. It is a contradiction that confuses the Loom. Speak of your reality, not about it. Old mind, I'm so stressed about money. Weaving the knot. Embodied mind, if asked, I'm in a process of reorganizing my finances. Everything is aligning. It is not a lie. It is a higher truth. You are describing the action that is happening on the quantum loom, not the echo of the old tapestry that your eyes see. Step 4. The embodied action, acting from the tapestry. This is the final physical seal. Your actions must align with your new identity. The quantum loom, your subconscious, believes your actions more than your thoughts. The weaver of chaos, scarcity mindset, saves out of fear, clings, doesn't tip, makes the cheapest decision out of panic. The resident of the tapestry, abundance mindset, circulates energy. They pay their bills not with fear, but with gratitude for having the money to do so. They tip fairly, knowing the flow is infinite. They make decisions based on value, not fear. Daily practice. Find one small action each day that demonstrates your new identity. If your tapestry is health, go for a 5-minute walk. Not to heal. Do it because you are a healthy person, and healthy people honor their body. If your tapestry is abundance, buy that better quality coffee. Not as a splurge, but as a statement that you deserve quality. If your tapestry is peace, consciously choose not to participate in an argument. Each of these small actions is a vote. It is a golden thread that tells the loom, yes, this is serious. The new pattern is now my only reality. And now the final act of mastery. You have designed the pattern. You have woven it. You have magnetized it. You have managed the broken threads. You have danced with inspired action. And you have aligned your life to inhabit it. What do you do now? You let go of the loom. You stop trying to manifest. You stop working on it. The weaver who has finished their masterpiece does not anxiously stare at it, wondering if it's real. They hang it on the wall and go design their next work. You trust. You have done all the work. You have embodied the identity. Now you enter a state of joyful expectation. You know that the physical manifestation, the reflection in the mirror, is now a formality. It is a law. It must happen. Your job is no longer to weave. Your job is to live. The ritual of embodiment has been revealed to you. You have learned to think, speak, and act from the finished tapestry. You have completed the cycle of creation. You are no longer the sleeping weaver who creates chaos by accident. You are the awakened weaver, the conscious designer, the deliberate creator. Your life is your masterpiece. Our journey began in the shadow of the myth of time. We set out as prisoners of chronology, believing ourselves to be candles sentenced to burn out, unaware that our aging was not a law, but a habit. Together we undertook the diagnosis. We saw The Thief of the Flame, Chapter 1, recognizing stress and resentment as the robbers of our vital energy. We discovered the echo of the past, Chapter 2, the hypnotic belief that commands our cells to deteriorate. And we confronted the chaotic fire, Chapter 3, the spiritual inflammation, the addiction to survival that burns our temple from within. We saw the disease, and then we began the alchemy of the cure. We learned to change the fuel. We mastered the divine breath, Chapter 4. We drank from the water of life, Chapter 5. We anointed ourselves with the oil of joy, Chapter 6. And we found direction in the pilot flame of purpose, Chapter 7. Finally, we entered the practical workshop. We mastered the ritual of the dawn, Chapter 8, to tune our flame each day. We forged the shield of light, Chapter 9, to protect it from the world's static. And we learned the alchemy of sleep, Chapter 10, to turn our night into the sacred workshop of regeneration. You have completed the manual. You have been initiated into the secrets of the eternal flame. But here, in the final silence of this knowledge, lies the ultimate revelation. The goal of this journey was not for you to become the guardian of the flame. The goal was for you to remember that you are the flame. A guardian still lives in duality. They fear the wind. They strive to protect. They remain separate from the fire they guard. A flame simply burns. When you embody this knowledge, you stop practicing youth. The techniques dissolve because they have become your state of being. You no longer breathe to calm down. Your natural breath is calm. You no longer eat living foods to heal. You are a being that resonates with life. You no longer practice gratitude. You become gratitude. Your biological clock stops obeying the calendar of the sun and begins to obey the clock of your soul. And your soul is timeless. Your life ceases to be a struggle against aging. It becomes a radiation of vitality. Your question every morning is no longer, how do I stop time? But, with what coherence, what joy, and what purpose do I choose to burn today? If this manual has reignited the fire in your soul, we invite you to share this light. Subscribe to our channel Path of Knowledge for more wisdom that fuels your flame. To like this video as a declaration that you choose vitality over time. Share this knowledge with someone who has forgotten the light of their own eternal flame. Thank you for your time, for your courage to confront the chaotic fire, and for the brave decision to reclaim your timeless youth. Según tus instrucciones previas, antes de colocar el texto narrador, bienvenidos. Viajeros de la noche, debo preguntarte, ¿deseas que añada la introducción para el narrador que has guardado en mi memoria al inicio de este texto traducido para completar el guión de audio?